learned about probate first. And then from there, I just kept YouTubing for like 4 more months. Then after that, I finally decided to take action. Took the wrong action. Yeah. I was calling for sale by owners, but they wanted retail, of course. I was calling every realtor in like Central Florida. I sent like hundreds of emails, and then finally met up with a realtor to go see a property. Didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah. Property was beat up. Obviously, they wanted more, and just kept taking action. And then finally, you know, to make a long story short, I learned about off-market properties, and I was like, "That's the real deal."
Direct to seller.
Yep. So that's the real deal. And then once that came about, and I started learning about how to actually call these people instead of reaching out to a realtor. So I learned about skip tracing direct to seller, and then after that, the rest is history. I started cold calling every day. Yeah. I quit my job. I didn't know anything about a CRM, so I was writing the leads down on copy paper. Yeah. And every day, 9 to 7, just making calls, shopping for dollars.
I bet that was over time, because you were doing it all on paper, right?
Yeah.
So that probably got messy after a while.
Oh yeah, it's all in my room, like just a stack of paper, bro. Like
he said, it's all in my room.
Yeah, it's like a stack of paper. Like I went to school, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like
and your book bag, you know, you got.
You see it right over there, bro. It's just like it's a whole bunch of just mess, bro. And it just like, and it also takes a long time. Yeah. Cause I'm writing down numbers. You know, it comes to like 3 numbers. Mm-hmm. So it's like you're writing down all these numbers. You're calling all of the numbers. So like you call 3 numbers for one person, and just like it takes a lot forever and ever. So I probably took like 6 hours just making 100 calls. About 150. Okay. And it just like, you know, some people said yes, some people said, most people said no. Right. Most of the numbers are wrong. And it's just kept calling every day for like 4 months. Every day. Faithful. I have a podcast playing on my smart TV at home while I'm making calls. And it's like, man, it becomes a lot. It's a lot of it take a toll on you after a while. It's just like, man, I haven't got close to a deal. Yeah. You know, so.
But then persistence shows you, and consistency shows you. You know what I mean? That's exactly how, you know, we're here right now, man. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy that you took that much action on your own, because, you know, most people would have quit after the first month. Shoot, some people would have quit after the second week. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody like expects like this to be a get rich quick situation where it's like, hey, I'm gonna do a deal. It's gonna happen in 30 days, right? Because everything's supposed to be so fast, right? And it doesn't happen like that. You know, you're not gonna become a millionaire off the first deal unless you do $1 million deal. And even at that point, you're gonna lose that money quick if you don't know what you're doing, because it's a business. And that's the other thing, right? Now that you've actually done a deal, now you gotta learn how to keep replicating that, right? And start building out business processes to actually own a business. Because it's one thing to do, all right, so it's one thing to have a hustle, it's another thing to have a business. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to, you're just making your money, it's another thing to create an organization that generates money for you. You see what I'm saying? Right. So ultimately, the goal, I presume, is financial freedom, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, who wants to go to work?
Right.
Nobody want to go to work, you know? But for real, you know, that takes time, because the entry point to the whole thing, to that reality, is doing that first deal. Because it's just a concept to you, right? And I mean, you can talk about how you felt, you know, when you completed your first deal, when it went from concept to actually a proven thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, the first deal was absolutely insane, to be honest. Because, you know, prior to that, man, it's like, man, you know, again, you want to keep yourself confident. You know, I had it down to the song I was gonna play when I picked up the check from the title company. Yeah. Like, it was just that serious. I had the song I was gonna play. I had how I was gonna drive home, how I'm gonna react, where I'm gonna celebrate. And first deal was actually crazy. So we went driving for dollars everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere in Central Florida we hit. We had about 1,500 leads in our database using the Deal Machine app. And you know, we obviously skip trace these leads, and every cell phone number we shoot out a text. So we shot out a text, and you know, my wife was at work, and I shot out a text a text blast, and you know, the guy name was Jim.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he was just like, okay, what's your offer?
Yeah.
So at that point, I didn't know what to say. So I'm searching to see what to say at the offer. And I think I said like something like, I would have to see the property before I can make my offer. He just said, look, I'm not finna sit here and do an hour-long interview with you. That's what he texted me back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, obviously, you know, I can't buy a property I don't see, you know, that would be, you know, that's something that we don't do.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, you're right. The property's complete dump. You have to go see it.
Yeah.
So,
you gotta look. You gotta take a look at what you're buying before you buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I met him at McDonald's the day after, and when he seen me, he was like, he's an older guy, so he was like, okay, what does this young kid want? And
he's like, he's probably thinking like, he's just playing with me, right?
Right.
Yeah, young guy.
So you know, I introduced myself, and he was sitting with his brother, and he was like, look, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go on the property. I have tenants in there. They messed up the place. You're gonna fake it as if you a handyman that I hired. So we went in there 2 seconds, went in and went out. And I seen the property. It was a complete, it was crazy. It was literally like a house that someone that, I don't know. It was bad. It was like roaches everywhere.
Yeah.
The bathroom was bad. It was everywhere. So, you know, we sat outside, me and him, we talked for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And, you know, I kind of got to know him a little bit, kind of built that rapport that you need. And he was like, yeah, man, think on it. If you want the property, give me a call. If you don't, cool. It don't matter to me. Called him the next day. I was like, look, you know, I'm still interested. You know, what is your price range? He didn't give me a price range the first day. So 2 days after that, we met at the McDonald's again.
Okay.
This time I brought my purchase agreement.
Okay.
Just kind of give him an offer. And I gave him, the house is worth about $160. Dude, I gave him an offer. I was so scared. I was like, he's gonna throw this paper in my face, because it was just so low. And we offered 55.
Okay.
He looked at the contract. He took out some stuff like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And but the best thing he said was like, that price range is kind of where I'm at.
Okay.
So I was like, cool. Once he said that, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. I was like, okay, so he at least, if he's not like all the way okay with the price, it's at least somewhere near what we need to be.
Yeah.
And you know, after that, you know, he went home. You know, he didn't actually sign that contract actually. So I signed it, but he didn't sign it. He was like, let me talk to my wife a little bit more. A couple days after that, I met him in Port Orange. So like an hour and 30 minutes away. I met him in a Publix parking lot. He signed a contract and got the contract signed. I got the contract signed for 55, and he was ready to do this. And that was just like a weight lifted.
Sweet deal, man. That's actually pretty cool that you mentioned how nervous you was, right, to give that offer, that gut-wrenching feeling you got, that unsurety, right? Because you just don't know. He's like, hey, he's gonna throw that paper right back at my face, and it's gonna be the end of it. Right. And so, you know, at that point right there, a lot of people would be so terrified to move forward that they wouldn't even give an offer, right? But the amazing thing about what you did is you faced your fear, and you were like, I'm gonna give the offer anyway. Hey, so what if I get the paper thrown in my face? I probably get cussed out, maybe, right? And get kicked out, you know, whatever. And you did it anyway, and it turns out the seller's like, okay. And here's just a quick tip too. I just want to mention this to you, right? From experience of just having to give out offers, what I notice is whenever I give mine, and the seller just agrees with it like that, it was too high. Too high. Right. It was too easy. You know what I mean? Yep. There was no negotiation involved. So, and obviously, later on throughout the deal, I know what, you know, when I got involved and you reached out to me and we started working on a deal together, that we were able to actually get it lowered, right? Yeah. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. So when I got the contract signed, I did the thing I wanted to kind of do it myself. So I reached out to a couple of, you know, buyers I just found, and it didn't work out. They were, one buyer was wanting way too much for the property. One buyer was, I would say, it wasn't his criteria. I wasn't gonna say he's inexperienced, but it was something that he definitely didn't want to take on, because the property was just that bad. So, you know, at this point, I'm like, damn, I got a deal, but I'm just getting discouraged. I'm like, man, this may not be a deal because I don't have my buyers in place. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. So I knew you at that point. I was like, you know what? Let me reach out to Luke. I reached out to you via Instagram and told you about the property Sunday. It was Sunday. So I sent you the details on the property. By Monday, we and you was in the property.
Yeah.
By Tuesday, we closed the deal. So I'm like hype. I'm calling my wife. I was like, look, I know you're at work, but go on break real quick. You know, I need to talk to you. And we hype. Yeah. She's ended up leaving early because I was like, work is work. We'll be okay. So she left work early. So we're like hyped in the car, man. We just like, man, like. And then when she told me the price you assigned it for, it's like icing on the cake. I'm like, man, my first deal, making $9 grand. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then it's just like, man, I drove so fast on the highway, man, I'm just hyped. So once you got involved, it made it a lot easier because you had to collect buyers.
Yeah.
And it was just a win-win. I mean, it was too easy. You made it look easy, and I was like, man, I didn't even know it could be that easy. I'm thinking, I'm nervous talking to buyers. And it was like, hit you up Sunday, by Tuesday, within a matter of 48 hours, money in my pocket. That's crazy. And I was just like, I didn't have words. I was like, man, you know what? Just leave work early, babe. Let's just like celebrate. Like I was ecstatic, man. It was just like, wow.
What do you think was the scariest part of the whole process for you?
In my opinion, the scariest part of the whole process was, that's a good question. Me personally, I would say just dealing with the seller.
Yeah.
You know, dealing with the seller because, you know, this particular seller did not want an assignment of contracts, so we had to double close, obviously.
Yeah.
But getting those buyers in the door without, you know, those buyers saying anything to mess up the deal. So that was the scariest process to me because, you know, people can just, you know, blurt out something.
Yeah.
And once you had those communication with your buyers, that was so much, they made it so much easier because they didn't say anything, you know, and to mess up the deal.
Yeah.
And we just, you know, it was just kind of like a smooth process.
Yeah.
You know, he was an older guy, of course, and he was a straightforward guy. And, you know, what he wanted was what he wanted. If not, then you have no deal.
Yeah.
And I would say that was the most, you know, intense part of the deal, you know.
Okay. So, what do you feel is a strong suit that you had that helped you complete your first deal?
I would say just the people skills. You know, I can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, he was an older guy, man, way much older than me, come from different backgrounds than me, but, you know, we actually built a really good relationship. You know, I kind of know what he's into, and, you know, he actually called me the other day. So, yeah, I would say my communication skills, because it was my strong suit. I mean, once she put that guard down, you know, it was pretty much easier to talk to him from there.
Yeah. And that's really cool that you mentioned that because, you know, rapport is a huge factor when negotiating deals. I mean, people like to do business with people that they like. You know, if you feel connected to somebody, naturally, you're gonna feel so happy going through that process because you like the person that, okay, you know, it might be $10,000 less or $5,000, you know, but I want to do it with you because I like you and I trust you and I'm confident that by going with you, I'm gonna get my end result. So that's very, very important that you formed a relationship with them. Very, very crucial of a point. So let me ask you this, man. Now, how did you find this deal again?
Drive for dollars.
Okay. So let's talk about, well, real quickly, I just want to say this. Guys, I'm here with Danye Hall, all right? And he has just closed his first deal, and we're actually talking about it. If you're just joining in right now, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about my man Danye and how he closed his first deal. This guy here has so much hustle, so much drive, and he's just so persistent. He was bound to be successful, and he's guaranteed success as long as he continues to move in that direction. I'm just so proud of him. So I want to share with you his story so you can see, you know, this isn't a gimmick, guys. This is real. Real people are getting started. Real people are succeeding. And so let's go ahead and continue. So Danye, with this deal, how long did it take you from the minute that you put your first property using Deal Machine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. From the minute that you put your first property in Deal Machine to closing this deal?
First property in Deal Machine came in October. We closed the deal in February, so 4 months.
4 months.
Enough, yeah.
Yeah. How many nodes did you go through?
Hundreds, almost probably thousands.
Yeah. Yeah. And you still stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's and that's what it's about, you know. It's about that persistence, right? So for someone else right now
mm-hmm.
that hasn't yet crossed over and transition into an investor, into a wholesaler, right. They're just getting started. It's just a concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old you, here's a new you now, right? The new you can see the possibilities,
yep.
you know, and can see the opportunity,
yep.
and you know now how to make it happen.
Yeah.
So this is a completely new Danye we're talking to. But what would you say to the old Danye, or someone else like yourself, or someone else getting started? What would you say now that you've seen success with this? What is one thing that you'd want to let them know?
One thing I would say, block out the negative noise. You know, block out everybody has this thing where everybody think it's too good to be true sometimes. Yeah. It's 100% true. So block out the negative noise. You have to. You have to block out the negative noise, and you have to be consistent. Because if you're not consistent, I mean, you're pretty much a waste of your time. You know, I mean, I was watching a video with Steve Harvey. He was like, you know, why be 75% there and you almost at 100? You know, so just get started, and you have to block out the negative noise. Yeah, you have to. So.
100%. So talk about what's going on now. You got another deal?
Yep, man, we got another deal, and me and you scheduled to close this deal very soon. I mean, we got the buyer in place, we got the price that we need, and it'll be a bigger deal than the first one. So,
nice.
You know, that's that. You know, once you get that first deal done, it starts to come in abundance at that point. So
100%.
That's what I'm learning.
100%. And just to touch on that, how much time has passed since the deal we're talking about now to one that we're getting ready to close?
Not even a month, honestly. Not even a month, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's crazy. It's like third month of the year, and it's like already 2 deals closed. And that's just crazy. And working on more.
Amazing, man. It's a result of all of your efforts and your dedication, man. So you're building out your dream. You're building out your future right now. And I just want to say I'm very proud of you. And congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Guys, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this interview with my man Danye today. And I wanted to make sure that I capture this on video because I wanted to show you that anyone can truly do this, right? We all see the messages from all of the successful gurus, all the successful durus talking about this, but how about the people that just got started? I want to show you that you can do this, all right? So everybody can totally do it. Just put your mind to it and stay persistent, and that's it for the show. Thanks again, Danye.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yes, sir.